It's raining outside, and when the days are cold, wet and miserable, what I really want to do is get into my kitchen, cook myself some hearty pasta, sit by the window, eating and enjoying my pasta while also enjoying the view outside. Unlike the Genovese green pesto, this pesto trepanese is a very Sicilian and based on tomatoes. But before we get on to that, I would like to start off with my pasta. And to begin with, I have a large pot of boiling water here, and as you can see, it is rolling and boiling quite vigorously. The next thing I'm going to do is salt it very generously, that too. It's like Ana del Conte said, your pasta cooking water has to be as salty as the Mediterranean. Don't worry, you're not going to be eating all of this salt, it's just to season the pasta. So now I am entertaining two greedy people along with my supper. So the pasta in question is this lovely fettuccine. That's about a big handful, maybe a little more for luck. You can use spaghetti if you don't find this, or even tagliatelle or linguine, but I find the fettuccine bulks up the whole dish a little bit. So if you've noticed, I have not used any oil at all. That is simply because it's not necessary at all. When you have water as hot as this, which is seasoned perfectly with salt, all you have to do is just give it a couple of stirs. This linguine is going to take about 7 minutes to 9 minutes to cook, and I am going to give this a check in between just to make sure it's not overcooked but totally al dente. This pesto trepanese differs from the Genovian pesto in the sense that this is high on tomato while that is high on basil. The next thing I'm going to do is peel a clove of garlic and add into my blender jar. And even though this pesto does not call for basil, I like the freshness of basil against the tomatoes. So in go the basil, some lovely golden skinned almonds instead of the pine nuts, of course. And the last but not the very least, of course, some spicy pepperoncini. This will give a small bit of bite. It's not going to be super spicy, but just a hint of spice. Now let's cover this and give it a good blitz. Right, let's check if the pasta is done, and there's only one way of doing that. What I do is pull out one strand of pasta, hot, bite into it, and you will know when you've bitten into it that the pasta is cooked but not cooked through and totally mushy. You want it to be al dente, and by that I simply mean your pasta has still got to be a little bit of bite. So what I'm going to do is, before straining this liquid, I follow the old Italian tradition. I take out about half a cup of the pasta cooking water. What this does is helps emulsify my sauce later. I'm going to drain this pasta heavy. I'm going to be uncharacteristically careful. Slowly, gently. In go my luscious pasta. Now what I'm going to do is give this whole thing a bit of a toss. This is not really necessary, but I think by tossing the pasta, you're going to disperse the heat quite evenly. Right, so I'm going to put my pasta into my pan. Just look how glossy and silky, and it literally falls on itself. You want that. And while this pasta is hot, I'm going to dress it with the sauce and give a couple of tosses. This pesto is almost done. It just needs two things. Just a splash of the pasta cooking water to help it emulsify, and also a glug of olive oil. And I am using extra virgin olive oil here simply because we are not cooking the sauce, and you can taste the lovely pepperiness of the oil. and that is about 125 ml, which is around half a cup. So blitz away. This pesto has emulsified beautifully and it has got that shiny, lovely glossy surface. So I'm just gonna tip a small amount of it into my pasta and give it a good stir. And it helps the fact that I have a wooden spoon. A bit more. Just so my pasta does not clump together as it sits and loses a bit of heat, I'm gonna add a small splash of the pasta cooking water that I reserved and continue to stir. When making pasta, any pasta with any kind of pesto, you don't want it to be super saucy. You want it to have just enough pesto to coat the pasta, and this looks just about right. Just look how the pasta is so silky, it is just slipping off of itself, and that is all too desirable. So one last thing, I have a sprig of fresh basil here. I'm just going to strew the leaves. Oh, lovely. The smell of fresh basil hitting the hot tomato pesto, it's unbelievable. So the last and final thing here is I want to give a good grating of lovely Parmigiano cheese. Now this is the good stuff as well. It comes from the Reggiano region and it's all lovely. It seasons the pasta. That's it. I'm done. Now I'm ready to put this into my bowl, sit by the window, enjoy my pasta. I'm so looking forward to this. A big pile onto my plate, greedily, as you can see. A small grating of cheese. I need this. And a few straggly bits of bread to mop up the sauce later. I'm done to go sit by the window and eat in peace. Straining my pasta.
Sorry, flop
Fake
show.
straining my pasta.
Retake. Cut.
Fake straining my pasta.
Cut. I should count. You should wait until it is action. Okay. 1, 2, 3, action.
Fake straining my pasta.
Fake training.
Straining. Oh my god, I hope I don't make that mistake when I'm actually straining my pasta. Unlike the Genovese pesto, this has all the African and unlike the Genovese green pesto, the pesto Sicilian pesto trepanese.
You want me to hold something here?
Sorry. I'm gonna chuck it. I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna break. Okay, let us please cut that out.